What's going on, guys? Zac Perna here, and today's video is probably, I think, the best video I'm ever gonna make. Big call, but it could be the most helpful. So I'm big on routines. I feel like if you nail your daily routine, that's kind of the way to keep moving forward and just to be a happier person, because I've experimented with myself on how I go from having no routine, no structure, and how I feel versus when I've got goals, routines, little things that may not seem, like they may seem trivial and like it's nothing, but it adds up and you just feel a lot better. So I'm gonna tell you guys 12 things that I think you should implement every single day, starting with number 1, which is something you don't want to. This started with cold showers for me, right? It sounds a bit strange, but when I started doing the cold showers and the cold shower videos, I really didn't want to do it. And I found that every single day, it kind of got easier, but it still sucks. So I still, every single day, would end up going to the shower when I really didn't want to. Didn't want to put it on cold. It sucked, it was painful. But then after it, I felt really, really good. For one, I felt great because it was actually cold and it kind of like revitalizes you. Secondly, I felt good because I feel like I conquered the morning and did something that I really didn't want to do, and I didn't feel like a bitch. That's kind of like, that's the way I see it, is like, don't be a bitch, just get in there, get it done, and you'll feel like, okay, good. I'm glad that I kind of pushed that. It's like it's the opposite of those mornings where it's Sunday, you're in bed, you think, oh, I really should get up, I really should do this, but I don't. You just sit there and you just feel like you're wasted. It's the opposite of that, right? You feel like you've actually just taken it and just done something good and productive. So for me, it's still the cold. It's just, I like it. So instead of going in the shower now, I actually jump in the pool. And it's pretty simple. You just sit here for about 2 to 3 minutes until you can get out when you don't want to get out, basically, until you get used to it. It's a paradox. So whatever you guys can find, whether that's a cold shower, a dip in the pool, an ice bath, could be making your bed. That's a very easy step to get started into that. People like to do that one. It could be something simple as murdering an old woman. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to do that. I'm kidding, don't do that. Anyway, number 2 is exercise. Now, whether you want to train in the morning with weights or do cardio or whatever it is, do something. So just find whatever it is that you can enjoy and stick to. For me, it's actually both. I do a bit of weight training and then do maybe 20 minutes of cardio. I will do cardio a little bit later on and go for a walk, whatever it is. But first thing in the morning, I need to do that. I find if I don't actually break a bit of a sweat, get my heart rate up in the morning, I feel really tired for the whole day. It's really strange. So for me, exercise in the morning is a must. Now, once all that's done, you've got up, you've trained, you feel good. The third thing is to look good. So, number 3, be presentable. Now, speaking of looking presentable, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor of the video, and that is Blue Man. So, I've worked with Blue Man forever now, and these guys are just awesome. So, I'm going to show you my everyday hair routine, or at least when I want to put effort into it. So a couple of products here. One is the pre-styler. This is the new Volume Ascend Cream. This is sick to add more texture and just overall definition to your hair. And it basically makes a huge difference in when you style it later. So what I do is I put a little bit of this in there. It has a heat protectant in there. Blow dry it, and then I put the post styler, which is the Monarch paste. This is your everyday post styler. So if you don't know what to get and you just want to have a lightweight, kind of like a matte paste, it smells amazing, this is the go. So quick hair routine for you guys. I feel like a girl making a Reels video. Now we blow dry, and already it's super thick now, way thicker. Next, the post styler. And for a 10% discount, use the code ZAC at blueman.com or hit the link in the description. And just get it all in there. That is pretty much the go. Because honestly, I work from home. I'm literally like a hermit. So if I wanted to, I could just wear absolutely nothing. Wouldn't even have to get changed or have a shower. Cliche aside, look good, feel good. You will feel better about yourself, and you can do this all the time. It's just having a bit of pride in how you look. I mean, it could be vain. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But still, I think it's helped me and my confidence. Now, the next one is fuel your body. Now, a lot of people really struggle with this. They might think they're eating healthy and they're fueling their body, and I say, hey, what'd you eat? And they go, I had some oats with the protein shake and a sandwich and this. And maybe they're hitting their overall protein and carbs for that matter, but the nutrients and really what's gonna make a difference in how you feel and how your body performs is not there. So I was gonna actually call this one Eat a Steak, because it sounds cooler, or Eat Some Salmon, it sounds weird. But the point being is that foods like that, like your steaks and salmon, they're so rich full of nutrients that if you start to put them into your diet and add the good foods back in, usually it comes in the form of good fats, so animal fats back in, putting things like that, eggs, you feel really, really good. So when you do that, obviously something has to give. You can't just or put all the food in and just keep consuming energy and then just hope to get leaner or whatever your goal is, because something has to give. So most of the time, if you want to increase your fats, you might have to decrease your carbs a little bit, but that's fine. Play around with it. But honestly, guys, make sure you're ticking off a few things saying, am I getting my vitamins in? Am I getting my omegas in? Am I getting enough protein in? It depends on where you are in if you've started your fitness journey yet, or if you're well into your advance. But I feel like for the people just quickly who haven't started, maybe you don't even have a diet plan, you don't really follow anything, I would say go for like a paleo approach, eat a lot of animal produce, have a relatively lower carb approach, more fats, because you'll feel so much better. You don't really feel better on more carbs, in my opinion. Keep them in there, don't go crazy and just get rid of them, but just make sure you're eating enough fats. And for those who are advanced and more into it, play around with it. This is where you can play around with your macro ratios and basically see how you respond to high carbs, medium carbs, lower carb days, higher fat days. Things like that, and then you'll know your body a lot better. So even the guys on my coaching program, I encourage them to try and have it, use the days where you've got a higher fat in there. See how you feel. Use the days where you've got higher carbs, see how you feel. See how your training goes. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you will know that I am a big believer in this next one, and that is to read. I've mentioned this in every video about lifestyle or habits or whatever it is, because reading it's insanely more powerful than you guys probably think. If you're an avid reader, then you probably understand. But I was when I was younger, and then I just stopped completely, and then I started to pick it up again. For the last year, I've literally read a book a week for the last year. Sorry about the flex, but it's just fact. So, and what I found with that is that it opens you up to so many different perspectives. It's like you're watching my video right now to see my perspective on things. I've read, how many books now? 50 books to see other people's perspectives on things in the last year, more. And that's when you think of it that way, it's actually crazy. Like, why wouldn't you want to see the world from different angles and think, oh yeah, maybe that's a good point, I should try that. Or just take on as much information as you can, because that's the way that you will expand your learning and trying new things. So reading is huge. And when you start to think like that, you really want to read more and more and more. So if you guys want to see the books that I recommend, I've made a whole video on that. I'll link it up in the cards here. But essentially just start with anything. I like to read in the mornings because it sets me up for a really, really good day. So as opposed to getting up, waking up, going on your phone, I mentioned this in my last video, if you just go on your phone and start scrolling, we literally live in a world today where it will mess you up. And that's the default thing for people, I feel, is like you start the day on your phone, you're scrolling through the people who you do like, but who are also gonna make you feel like shit. I mean, let's just say a guy out there who's overweight, has poor confidence, he opens up his phone and sees my photo from last night where I'm like, maybe just shredded or whatever, I've been dieting for 20 weeks, and he goes, I feel like a piece of shit now. Like, what did that do for him just then? Like, that just made that person feel really, really shit about himself for no reason, first thing in the morning when you're kind of still not woken up yet. And my point is, it has no real benefit. So what I would recommend to you guys is use the morning to read, just a book of nonfiction, something to really get you started and get you pretty keen for the day and start thinking about things. It'll allow you to kind of take charge of your day a lot more than if you were just opening up your phone, oh shit, this is what I gotta do, I gotta respond to this, I got an email here, this is what I got. Don't do that. You'll just compare, you'll freak yourself out, and you'll start the day on the wrong foot. So reading is a really good time in the morning just to refocus, center yourself, and then set yourself up for a good day. So again, if you want to read at night, I do this as well, but I'll read something very easy. Something chilled, fiction, whatever it may be. I feel like it helps me fall asleep, and also it's really good for the vocab. So now into point number 6. Now this one is a little bit strange, but bear with me. It can get a little bit life coachy, strange, voodoo, wizardry, woo-woo stuff, so just hang on for a second. But it's a two-parter. It's set goals and write lists. Okay, so what you need to do is, this is what I did. You think about who you want to be, what type of person you want to be in 5 years time, 1 year, whatever it is. But you need to identify your, let's call it your best self, the best possible version of you that you really want to become. Because let's be serious, that's what we want, right? I mean, if it's very easy to just like knock this and say, oh, I was just talking shit, what's he even on about? But let's be serious for a second. That's all we want, is to become the best version of ourselves, right? What you guys need to do to get there is think, okay, let's break it down a bit. So identify that person, think, what are they like? How would they respond? Let's say you really want to be more outgoing and confident. You think, okay, what would that person do in a situation like this? So then that's the kind of the way of thinking. So then what you do is you break that down into actual skills. Go, okay, what skills does that person have? What skills do I need to have? Then you break that down into, tasks. You can break that down into weekly tasks, daily tasks, whatever it is, but goals as well. I mean, this is goal setting in a nutshell, but it's more of a holistic, because you're looking at the type of person, not just I want this, but you're looking at the type of person. So for me, the way that worked for me was, okay, here's the type of person that I want to be in 5 years. here are the huge goals that terrify me right now that I want to hit, and I'll write those goals down, and then here's how I can get there. So then I'll break that down by the month, by the week, by the day, and pencil in your calendar, literally write that down of when you're doing those things. What are you doing today that's gonna help you hit that goal for the day, the goal for the week? And that's gonna relate to the higher goal. So can you see how it's kind of like, it's going down like that? Now, that to me was huge because for one, goals terrify me, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but goals freak me out, especially if they're big enough. Maybe because I'm worried that I wouldn't hit them, or maybe I wouldn't achieve them, so I get a bit scared and I feel like I don't want to fail. But I also get scared that I'm wasting potential as well, so it's a two-parter. But anyway, I remember back before I started my online coaching business, the thought of that was terrifying. Like, I literally, it gave me anxiety. I couldn't even talk about it. Now I'm like, I don't even know why, but I just couldn't do it. So luckily I just put one foot in front of the other. I started doing PDF plans and just started, and then that led to one thing, led to another, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hang on, I'm actually kind of doing this thing. I had a business, I was growing it. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It was actually amazing, it was great. But that's the reason why you need to set these big goals of who you want to become and what you want to achieve. Write down what you need to do to get there. So for me, that was, okay, PDF plan, start this, let's do this next week, come up with a logo, come up with a business name. But then you need to kind of forget about the bigger goal for a little bit because it's still terrifying, it's still daunting. You just got to focus on the tasks. So biggest wrap up from this whole point is have your goals and your end result and separate that and translate that into your daily tasks and weekly tasks, because you can do those, they're easy. It's so easy to do one thing. Then there's no individual task that's actually that difficult, like on a level of like what we're speaking about right now. If you want to be more confident, it's really difficult to just all of a sudden be really, really confident. But how hard is it to maybe just say that one extra thing to somebody, to a stranger, or just to put yourself out there just a little bit? It's actually very easy, and you can do that, and you'll find that you can do it time and time again. So that's the point of take one little step, all of a sudden you'll be where you never thought you possibly could be. And I know it, like I said, I know it sounds really corny, cliche, whatever it is, but there's just so much truth to it, and I thought it'd be shitty of me if I didn't express my opinion on that with you guys as well, because I genuinely think you can benefit a lot from it and you'll be very surprised with what you can achieve. So that is that point covered. And point number 7 is one of my favorite tricks to increase productivity, and it's the midday check-in. Now I got this from Brendan Burchard, one of my favorite authors on this stuff. Really, really good, check his stuff out. But what he does at 2:30, I think he does it around 2:30, it's like, how do you get over that slump when you feel like, oh, I really just can't be bothered anymore. But I like to do it in the middle of the day, because for me, that's kind of like where I get that boost of momentum. So I think, what has gone really, really well today? What have I got done? What am I happy with? Because sometimes you just do these things and you forget. You go, okay, next thing. But actually take notice, go, what's good today? And then you think, how would I want to finish this day really, really well? So what can I do for the rest of the day that would leave you feeling satisfied and going, that was sick, I'm so glad I've done that. And then write that down. So it might be like, for me, it might be like, okay, today's gone really, really well. I've recorded this video, I've stuck to my diet, I've done my cardio. What would end the day perfectly? Well, maybe if I just edited up this video, bare bones of it, and then I can go and relax and I'll be happy. And then this is probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna feel really, really satisfied at the end of the day, as opposed to thinking, oh, could I have done more? I'm not motivated to get this shit done. So big thing is what's gone well today and what would be a perfect end to the day. Now moving on to something a little bit more fun, and that is do something creative. So I think living in like this digital world where we're always distracted, you just don't make time for like creative things unless it's really your job. So I found with me, the only thing creative that I've ever done is like I play guitar, but I haven't played in a long time. So like I picked it up again, I started playing again, and it was so good for just my mental health, the way I think about things, just I feel like my brain in general. And then also videography, like taking more time to use my camera and doing creative things like that, gets you thinking different. So I urge you guys, whatever it is, I'm sure there's something you can be creative with. Even if you suck at it, just do something that will stop you from the mundane work or whatever it is, or the pressures that you can kind of just relax and just get into. Because not only is it good for your mental health and allow you to relax, but secondly, it's actually just really, really good to have your brain thinking on that other level that you might not be hitting in your daily work. And similarly, the next point is do something relaxing. Again, just a really, really important one, just to take care of yourself. So for me, this could be having a bath. Like literally, I enjoy a good bath. It could be meditation. It could be a mix of the two. I started doing them together and literally nearly died, nearly drowned in the bathtub. I was sitting there just waking up out of, you know, nearly drowning myself. So I wouldn't recommend that, but just do one of those things. I mean, meditation works really well because it's like 10 minutes, you can get it done every single day. If you're telling me you don't have time for 10 minutes, you do, okay? I'm yet, please, if you don't have time to find 10 minutes in your day, please comment below, curious. And just get it done, you'll feel so much better after, but also you feel better the next day. So if you say look after yourself and just have that 10 minutes of time to yourself to chill, you know, if it's do yoga, whatever it is, just have that time. The next day in the morning, for some reason you'll function better. It's like you're less stressed, it feeds into the next day. It's not just about that 10 minutes while you're doing something, it's what happens after. So really big on that. There's nothing impressive or heroic about just burning out, all right? A lot of people love that, like no sleep. I work like this, I was like sick. Okay, how long is that gonna last? And are you happy? And they go, no, contemplate death every day. So just like take the time to look after yourself as much as you need or as little as you need, but at least do something. Now the next one is a little bit better in terms of being a good human, and that is do something good for someone else. So this is one that I started doing a long time ago and I literally forgot it. But I would consciously do it and be like, okay, and at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, what did I do that was good? So, okay, yeah, I did that, and I tick it off. So when I asked Joel recently, I said, hey, is there anything else that we'd add to this? Because we basically have the same kind of routine every day, and I had 10 points, and he said, how about do something good for someone else? And I went, oh, you're a good person, I'm a shit one, I forgot about it. So, but really important nevertheless. So I'm actually glad he said it because then it reminded me to actually do that. So whatever that is, guys, if you're doing something for your family, friend, sending a nice message, whatever it is, you will feel better about it. And it's also, imagine if everyone's doing that. I mean, if you've seen the movie Pay It Forward, it's like that, only there's nobody getting stabbed. So that's the way it should be. And that brings me to my next point, which is the gratitude list and daily reflection. So something you can do at the end of every day is just check in with yourself. So this is like I was saying before with the, when I said do something good for someone else. At the end of the day, I'll check in and go, what did I do today that was this, you know? So this is the time where you guys can just check in, take a step back, and just put out what's on your mind, whatever it is. If you wanna write it, if you wanna type it, I just type mine on pages on my iPad. I think I've got 60,000 words in there since last year. I've just rambling, just whatever's stressing me out, whatever's on my mind, whatever I'm excited, nervous, anxious about, and just put it out there. For one, it just gets anything off your mind that's stressing you out. It's like you're just venting, you're telling someone. Secondly, and you don't want to just complain as well. You don't want to bitch, they're just bitching, because that doesn't really do much. But secondly, it can also show you that things aren't as bad as what you might perceive. So you know the times where you feel like something's wrong, you're stressed about something, but you haven't really figured it out yet, and then it just gets worse and worse and compounds, and you feel like you're just gonna explode over something tiny. So for most of the time, it's not as bad as you think, and you go, you know what, there's actually an easy solution to this, here's what I'm gonna do. So it provides a lot of clarity in your own mind about just what you want to do with things and what's stressing you out, the root cause of that, and how to fix it. So that is really good. And a second one, I like to say a daily reflection too, because I don't really like to say journaling. Journaling sounds a bit like weird. But I also like to put a gratitude list in there. Now this, I feel like, is one of the easiest ways to become happier. Like honestly, it is. Everything is just relative, right? Whatever's good now in your life, it's relative, and that's your baseline of happiness. And then whatever good thing comes, oh, I'm happier, but then it just returns to baseline again. And you can just easily cruise through life and you'll get things better come to you and you'll still be just the same miserable person. So I found that if you don't actually take the time to check in every single day and think about what is good that's going on in your life now, what are you happy that you're genuinely grateful for, and try and feel it, like you really don't just write it, try and actually get that feeling again, and then you'll be like, damn, actually, this is pretty, I've got it all right. And I'm sure, you know, obviously people are going through absolute hell. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, you don't understand my life. I'm like, I get it. I literally probably don't at all. But there's still something that you can be grateful for and thankful for that will actually improve. I mean, it's not gonna make me happier. This is for you guys, so it'll improve your own happiness and well-being if you can just take note of the things that are going well for you. Just, right, even if it's as simple as what went well today, what are you happy for? It can be anything you want, and really it makes a massive difference. So that's something I've done for a long time as well. If you're stuck on journaling, you think, oh, I don't know what to write, just start with that. Just think, what's good, what am I happy with today? And then you can just move into what could I have done better, what's something that I'm proud of, or, you know, just little things like that. And then if you just want to vent, you just vent. Some of my entries are just weird. So this is an entry from this time last year. I'm looking here. Today was insanely productive and left me in need of a relaxing night. I stressed a little bit over meeting deadlines, but it was all good. One thing I could have improved on today was taking a minute to enjoy the day and not rush through it. I didn't take much free time for myself without any pressure. I'm grateful today for the people that support and follow me, for Mum for helping me out with my video, and for Dad and Joel for lightening the mood and relaxing at the end of the night. Tomorrow I'll remind myself that no matter what, I always have choices to act in a way that promotes my freedom, happiness, and that of others. If that's not as transparent as I can get with you guys actually reading my own journal, then that's pretty much the way it is. But it's funny because it's kind of like similar thought process to today. Today was good, but I felt slightly off and not as pumped up as usual. I got most of the things done that I wanted to, but I felt slightly down and not quite good enough. I read an interesting thing in my book this morning about how we are always faced with a choice of either aversion or ascension. If you look back, that's that poster I've got up there. It's very cool. We can make decisions out of fear that will prevent us from doing things, or we can make decisions out of freedom that can propel us forward to our own personal freedom. I need to remind myself to be aware of what is guiding my decision making. July 16th. Today was a lot of fun and was the day, for the record, that we got our first proper sample back. New business. We were so excited, the whole day flew by, and for the first time I finally saw everything coming together. It was a very important day for me and Joel, except we met that bloke from that was most likely on meth, as he repeatedly said. All good, we learned never to do hard drugs today, so that's a plus. And the final one is the most important one of this whole video, and is like Zac Perna's videos and show him a lot of support. You need to do that every single day. That's literally the point. You guys have to do that every day, because if you don't, I might be jobless, and I don't want that. So I've got a family to raise at some point in the future, I'm guessing. And they'd appreciate it, my unborn children would appreciate it if you guys liked my videos and commented, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But guys, that is pretty much it for me. I literally just wanted to sit down, have a chat, tell you some things that have really, really helped me, and hopefully this can be a way of improving your life as well, and you can take something from that. So if you have, and you've taken something and you're excited about something or whatever it is, and I've provided some clarity or something, please comment down below, because I really, really want to read it. I read all my comments and it would make me very happy. Consider that the part of doing something good for someone else today. But that is it for me, guys. I did hope you enjoyed this. And if you don't know what to do, well, I failed you with this video. I've given you 12 things to do. But here's a 13th one. Stay tuned.
All these sexy jeans in my section, and slide into your DMs in the PM and the AM. Then I slide into your feelings when you see just what I'm saying.